Imagine this. You're sitting in the back of a safari truck. Crater cliffs rise around you like the ribs of the ancient gods. In the distance, a lioness sprawls under a lazy sun, looking like she owns the entire continent. And maybe she does. You've got a lunchbox in your lap, the kind with a hard-boiled egg, an apple, and a sandwich wrapped in suspicious cling wrap. Then, just as you're about to take a bite, a baboon, yes, a baboon, sprints across the grasslands like a linebacker on espresso, launches into the truck, snatches your lunch, and disappears into the tall grass, hooting in triumph.
Welcome to the Ngorongoro crater, amigos. Home to hippos, wildebeest, flamingos, and apparently professional lunch thieves. But here's the wild part. What happened next wasn't panic. It was laughter. Shared laughter. The kind that converts a moment of chaos into a story you'll tell for the rest of your life.
Welcome to The Latitude Adjustment, the podcast where aging isn't a slow fade. It's a bold, freaking encore. Join Rusty and Erica, two rebel-hearted guides with a suitcase full of stories, a camera, a compass, and zero tolerance for boring self-help. They're not here to fix you. They're here to remind you, you were never broken. So whether you're craving clarity, connection, or just a passport stamp for your next chapter, you've docked at the right port. Grab your sun hat, loosen your grip on the grind, and get ready to chart a new course. Mind, body, and soul. This is the Latitude Adjustment.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Latitude Adjustment. Today's episode is brought to you by the letters C, O, R, and T. I'm talking about cortisol, baby. That stress hormone that turns us into tense, grumpy coconuts when left unchecked.
Baby, sometimes I do feel like a grumpy coconut.
I think yesterday your grumpy coconut fell on my head.
Yep, but also the same hormone that gets you out of bed when the alarm hits, helps you hit the brakes when a toddler runs into the street, and apparently helps you dodge baboons on safari.
Stress isn't the enemy, it's the invitation. The question isn't if you feel it, it's what you'll do with it.
That day in the crater, we saw it all.
From A to Z.
Wildebeest in migration, elephants rolling in the mud, flamingos standing like one-legged dreams.
They were beautiful.
But it wasn't the grandeur that stuck with me. It was the reminder that wildness and stillness live side by side.
Oh, exactly. That baboon moment, it could have wrecked the whole vibe that day, but it didn't. Because we knew something vital. You can feel the stress, but you don't have to live in it. You can convert it. You can alchemize it.
That baboon was the Yogi Bear of the park.
Ah, true. It's very true.
And that's what this episode's all about. How to take the static in your chest, the buzz behind your eyes, the heaviness in your bones.
And those bones can be heavy, heavy.
And turn it into fuel, not fire.
Stress can be sacred. It signals, it protects, but it also accumulates, especially in the second half of life when the losses stack up and the expectations don't back down.
You want to know who wasn't stressed?
Who?
The Maasai we saw that day.
Tell us more.
The Maasai are a semi-nomadic herding tribe who live like they have for 1,000 years. On the day we visited the crater, you could see a Maasai tribe seated in the distance, their blue and red plaid robes glowing like embers in the mist, calm as clouds.
The colors were amazing.
Lions give them space. Do you know why?
Because they walk with presence, with rhythm, with deep embodied awareness. You don't survive that long in lion country by being frantic. You survive by moving like you belong.
Stress isn't something they eliminate, it's something they honor and then transmute.
We could learn a thing or two. Let's break it down, everybody. Chronic stress isn't just a buzzword. It rewires your brain, shortens your fuse, and makes your immune system pack its bags. But the good news, you can rewire it back.
Have you ever heard of post-traumatic growth?
I've heard of post-traumatic stress.
Well, this is the potential flip side. It's real. Your brain is a jungle, constantly pruning, rewilding, and adapting.
I like rewilding.
Yeah, the difference between surviving and thriving is what you do with tension.
Good stuff. And here's the jungle gospel. What fires together, wires together. Every time you feel stress, you tell yourself, this is too much, then guess what your brain learns? Stress equals shutdown.
What fires together, wires together. But if you start saying, this is energy, this is information,
Right.
this is calling me to act, then suddenly you're not just enduring, you're evolving.
Let me tell you something else that happened in that crater. We were headed out. It was late afternoon, light casting that beautiful Instagram glow, and the safari truck stalled. Just kaput. Middle of nowhere, lions maybe 30 yards back, no signal.
Our driver muttered something that definitely wasn't in the tour brochure.
So in that moment, just a little flickering of the chest tighten, brain jumped straight to worst case scenarios. Stranded, eaten, viral TikTok story titled Aging Heroes Become Lion Snacks. You know, those things.
But then something amazing happened. I looked at Erica and she was laughing. Not forced, not panicked, just honest, soul-deep laughter.
Because the truth hit me. We are here. We're alive.
We're going to be eaten.
But we'll be delicious. We're in a moment that matters. I chose to laugh not because I wasn't scared, but because I knew fear didn't get to drive.
And not 2 minutes later, the engine coughed back to life. But we had already converted the moment from stress to story, from tension to truth.
Let's recap what we've talked about so far, Rusty.
Today, we rode through crater floor philosophy, baboon theology, and Maasai presence.
We reminded you that stress is not a failure, it's a signal. And the sacred task is not to erase it, but to use it, to shift it, to convert it.
Coming up next, we're giving you tools, rituals, and real talk. Not to avoid stress, but to dance with it like a barefoot jaguar under the stars.
That's segment 2, the stress conversion kit. Bring your banana peels and your inner baboons. It's time to turn pressure into power.
All right, aging heroes, you've stared down the baboons, survived the stalled engine, and watched the lions sunbathe like they own the place. It's time to talk tools. Welcome to the kit room.
This is where we show you how to MacGyver your mind. You don't need a psychology degree or a box of incense to manage stress. What you need is rhythm, intention, and maybe even a good playlist.
Because stress ain't leaving. It's baked into the batter. But how you stir it, that's where the magic is.
Let's start with the truth bomb. Stress is just your body trying to protect you. It floods you with cortisol and adrenaline so you can run, fight, or freeze. Yeah, great if a jaguar jumps out. Less helpful when your inbox is full or your mother-in-law has opinions about your chicken salad.
The problem isn't stress. The problem is unconverted stress.
That's right.
That's when your body keeps sounding the alarm, but you never let it finish the story.
So your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to finish the damn story. Turn the stress signal into movement and release it into insight.
So here's your stress conversion kit. Here's what we keep in our own jungle-tested, baboon-approved kit. Number 1, Breathe like you mean it. We're not talking inhale for 5 while thinking about your taxes. We're talking ocean breath. Deep, low, belly expanding breath that tells your nervous system, hey, we're not dying. We're just late for a dentist appointment.
Try this right now. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Exhale through your mouth like you're fogging up a mirror for 6 counts. Do that 3 times and tell me your shoulders don't drop like coconuts from a tired tree.
Shake the static. Animals literally shake after a threat. Watch a dog after a vet visit.
Ooh, our dogs definitely do that.
Humans, we just stew. So stand up, shake your arms, your legs, your hips. Put on a dumb song and move like you got ants in your sarong.
That's right. Do it like nobody's watching. Laughter and shaking resets your vagus nerve. No, that's not a cruise line. It's your built-in chill switch.
The 2-minute reframe. Write this down. Write down what happened, what I made it mean, and what I can do. Simple but not easy. Stress is often the story we tell ourselves. Change the story and you change the chemistry.
So here's an example. My partner snapped at me. Means I'm a failure. That's the bad story. Here's the reframe. My partner's probably stressed. I'll ask how they're doing. I'm still worthy of kindness. That's the story that heals.
Right. The joy cue. What's one small thing that reliably makes you smile? A smell, a song, a flavor. For Erica, it's the first sip of hot chai. For me, it's hearing seagulls argue.
Keep that joy cue handy. Stress shrinks your perspective. Joy expands it. And when you train your brain to spot small joys, it rewires the whole jungle.
Right on. So let's do this week's Aging Heroes Challenge. Convert one stressor.
I love it. Pick one thing that's stressing you out right now, big or small. Then walk it through the conversion process. Here we go. Number 1, name it. Get specific. Not everything sucks, but I'm overwhelmed by work emails. Number 2, you're going to feel it. Give it 90 seconds. Breathe, move, let it rise without editing. Then 3rd, frame it. You're going to ask, is this a threat or a request for attention? And number 4, act on it. Move that energy. Respond, reframe, reach out, or even laugh.
Bonus points if you tell a friend about your conversion story.
Hey, Rusty, do you want to hear my conversion story?
Damn straight. We're building a movement here, and shared stress becomes sacred when it's spoken.
And if all else fails, go chase a metaphorical baboon. Life's going to throw surprises. Might as well get some steps in while you're at it. Quick recap.
We packed your stress kit, done breath work, took shake breaks, created narrative reframes, attended to joy cues, and given you a weekly challenge to help you walk it like you talk it.
You've got everything you need to turn stress into fuel. Not because stress is fun, but because you're not here to wilt. You're here to rise.
Coming up next in segment 3, we're bringing this out of the jungle and into your living room. How to turn your home, your habits, and your relationships into stress-converting ecosystems.
That's right. We're talking rituals, rhythms, and the tiny tweaks that make big magic. So don't miss it. All right, heroes. So far, you've laughed with baboons, packed your stress conversion kit, and reframed chaos into clarity. But now it's time to bring it home, literally, because your environment can either feed your stress or help you alchemize it.
That's right. You can't always control what happens out there in the jungle. Emails, in-laws, weather, news cycles. But you can shape what you come home to. You can create a refuge, a rhythm, and a vibe that helps your nervous system know you're safe now.
Let's get something straight. Stress doesn't come from big life events. It seeps in through the clutter, the noise, those constant notifications, right? The light that's too harsh or the schedule that never seems to breathe.
Yeah, big stressors demand your attention. The little ones just kind of chip away at your sanity.
Very true.
So today's segment is all about stress-proofing your personal habitat, turning your home, your routines, and even your relationships into the kind of soil where peace grows.
Now you're talking my language. Personal habitat.
Oh, okay.
And I love to refresh a space.
This is true.
So let's start with your space, my favorite place. I'm not talking about Pinterest perfection here. I'm talking alignment. Does your space feel like it matches the energy you want to have?
We once had a guest room we nicknamed the Stress Cave.
I remember that room of doom.
Piles of unfolded laundry.
Probably mine.
Unopened mail, and that weird tension of things we were ignoring. And every time we walked past it, our shoulders climbed up an inch.
Absolute truth. So we did what we like to call a room rewilding. Nothing fancy, but cleared out the guilt piles. And we added some plants, some soft light, a chair we actually liked. And the space ultimately became a place where we loved to go and read and stretch, nap and dream. That space helped to convert stress. Before, it was just where we stored it.
Your outer environment impacts your inner one. You don't need a remodel.
No.
Just a reset. A drawer, a corner, one little altar of calm.
Just a quick refresh. Let's talk about rhythm. Routine is a to-do list. Rhythm is a flow. Stress builds when we move against our natural energy cycles.
That's why I stopped doing early morning Zoom calls. I am not my best self at 8:15.
You're not?
My sentences are still warming up, but I am great around mid-morning. So I moved my meetings, and it was magic.
Start tracking when you feel alert, foggy, hungry, energized. Tune into that. Then build habits around those waves and not against them. You'll feel less like you're paddling upstream with a broken oar.
And don't forget breaks, real ones. Not scroll your phone and get angrier breaks. Walk, breathe, stare at a tree, talk to your dog.
I love talking to my dogs. Now, let's talk relationships, because people can be your peace or they can be your trigger.
If you live with someone or even just talk about them a lot, create a stress protocol. Seriously, know each other's signals. Have a code word. Ours is
pineapple. When one of us says pineapple, it means I love you, but I'm maxed out. Please don't ask me to discuss dinner or taxes or the meaning of life just until I've had a 5-minute break and maybe a snack.
We also do a Sunday download.
That's right.
10 minutes to ask what's coming up this week, what do we need support with, and where can we tag in for each other.
It's the perfect touch base and also time to just connect with each other.
Yeah.
That one rhythm keeps so much drama off our plates. It doesn't prevent stress, but it converts it into partnership.
Here's something powerful. How you start and end your day frames how your body holds stress.
If your day starts with a blaring alarm and doom scrolling, doom scrolling. Yeah. You're training your brain to panic before coffee. If it ends with Netflix until your eyes burn and falling asleep with stress still stuck in your neck, Erica, well, your nervous system never lands.
Try this. One sacred start and one soft landing. Morning might mean 5 minutes of breathing, stretching, and experiencing gratitude. Night might be a bath, a hot tea, or writing down what you're letting go of.
We love to light a candle. Sometimes we do it at night. Sometimes we do it in the morning. Could be at any point in time, truly throughout the day. What that says to us is that we're home, we're safe, we are resetting, we survived. Any of those things, that's what matters.
A few years ago, I was burning out hard from work stress. I had a creative block. My fuse was the size of a guitar string.
I noticed you started snapping at the toaster.
True story. So I picked a landing pad, a spot outside, and I sat there for 10 minutes. No phone, just sky, just breath. Some days I repeated a mantra. Some days I solved a problem. And some days I just let my body land.
Right. That changed everything. It became a sacred space. And that daily rhythm, it was like patching a leak in your nervous system.
We all need a landing pad, even if it's just metaphorical. A place, a practice, a pause.
Time for a recap. Today, we rewired home base. We showed you that stress isn't just mental, it's environmental, that your space, your rhythms, and your people can help you heal.
You don't need a new life. You need a new approach, one that honors your energy, your humanity, and your real-time needs.
Coming up next, it's time to celebrate because converting stress isn't just about coping. It's about remembering that you're already doing better than you think.
That's segment 4, the victory signal. Grab a drink, find a hammock, and get ready to toast your tiny wins.
Cheers. All right, heroes, take a long breath. You've earned it. This whole episode, we've been moving through the jungle with open eyes and open hearts, learning not just how to manage stress, but how to convert it.
That's right. We didn't avoid it. We danced with it. We shook it out, named it, reframed it, and turned it into a story with laughter, rhythm, and even ritual. And now it's time to mark that transformation, because celebration isn't dessert, it's fuel.
Welcome to your victory signal, that moment where we honor your deep, gritty, soul-glowing thing you just did. You didn't numb out. You stayed with it. You met the pressure and you alchemized it.
Let's set the record straight. You don't have to wait until the stress is over to celebrate. You celebrate because you're still here. You're still curious and you're still adjusting your latitude.
Most people think victory is loud, but you know better. Sometimes it's just noticing that you didn't yell back, that you took a breath instead of a swipe, that you opened a window when you could have slammed a door.
That's the work. That's the flex. Those moments matter more than you think.
Let me tell you about one of our coaching clients. We'll call her Joy. She was feeling overwhelmed, stress eating, not sleeping, midlife transitions were knocking hard. Sounds like we could probably call her Erica.
We asked her to try the landing pad practice. 10 minutes of stillness, same time every day.
Right.
No phone, no problem solving, just space.
She texted me later and said, I didn't feel peaceful, but I didn't get up and I didn't numb out. So that's a win.
That's the victory signal.
Right.
Not fireworks, not gold medals, just quiet courage practiced daily.
So let's recap again on what we just talked about. We named victory, not as something you achieve once you're fixed, but something that you notice while you're still in the thick of it.
We gave you permission to toast the process. You raise your glass to effort, to breath, to beginning again.
And we reminded you that stress isn't the villain, it's the raw material. The real story is who you become when you work with it.
Should we get matching t-shirts that say, ask me about my converted cortisol?
Only if mine has a baboon swinging from a hammock on it. And add in, may snap before coffee, but recovers like a legend.
Basically, the aging hero's lifestyle right there.
On a t-shirt. This episode was one long exhale. We opened up with a baboon in a safari truck, reminding us that stress shows up loud, messy, and often hilarious.
Then we built your stress conversion kit, breathwork, body movement, reframes, and joy cues, plus a weekly challenge to turn your biggest tension into insight.
Then we brought it home, literally. We showed you how your space, your rhythms, and your relationships can be designed to support peace instead of provoke panic.
And finally, we celebrated. We honored the alchemy, the sacred moment you realize you're not just surviving, you're transforming.
And friends, that's the kind of victory that ripples through your home, through your community, through your body.
You're not behind, you are blooming.
If this episode hit your heart, if it spoke to you, share it. Text a friend, tag us, and go follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Aging Heroes. You can also find our full tribe at www.agingheroes.com. Coming up next week, episode 12, Develop Insight. We're diving deep into the wisdom beneath the waves, the kind that shows up when you stop performing and start listening.
We'll be exploring intuition, clarity, and the quiet knowing that only comes from sitting with truth long enough to let it unfold.
So grab your journal and your jungle mug. Insight is on the horizon.
See you next week.